The title of the study is The Effect of Social Influence on Grade 12 Students in ALSH with regards to their preference of e-commerce outlets in the Philippines, school year 2022-2023. This study was conducted by Alcedo, Pasha, Comia, Labaino, Loyola, Mordeno, and Valdivesa from ABM Grade 12 Ayala.
Chapter 1, Introduction, consists of background of the study, theoretical framework, conceptual framework, statement of the problem, scope and delimitation, and significance of the study.
As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic caused a huge change in terms of the people's daily living. According to one of the articles written by the International Trade Administration 2021, this pandemic also affected the demand for e-commerce in the Philippines. Moreover, this study will focus on the selected e-commerce platforms, Shopee, Lazada, and Zalora, and how social influence affects the decisions of students. This study is related to conformity. Internalization is the deepest level of conformity, which serves a link of connection to informational influence, where people tend to rely on others when they are in a confusing situation.
The study considered the social influence theory by Herbert Kalman 1958 as cited by Wood and Hayes 2001. Figure 1 is rated the conceptual framework of the study. It consists of two variables, the independent variables which are social influences, social media, word of mouth, and reviews on e-commerce outlets, and strong ties, family and close friends, weak ties, acquaintance, and the dependent variable which is students' preferred e-commerce outlet. The study aims to answer the following questions in particular. How frequently do the grade 12 students in Angelo Libardo Loyola Senior High School visit e-commerce outlets in the week? Lazada, Shopee, Zalora. How does the immense influence of sources of social influence affect the decisions of students in choosing the e-commerce platform they will use? Social media, word of mouth, reviews on e-commerce outlet. How great is the influence of strong ties, family, and close friends, and weak ties, acquaintances, and strangers in the decision-making of students regarding their preferred e-commerce outlet, family, close friends, acquaintance, strangers, and online strangers. This study focused only on grade 12 students at Angelo Libardo Loyola Senior High School, or ALSH, who use e-commerce outlets. Furthermore, in order to accomplish the goal of this study and to obtain responses from the respondents, the researchers carried out an in-depth investigation using a survey, specifically using the stratified random sampling method.
The study was beneficial to students as it provided information about the influence of others in terms of their decision-making in choosing their preferred e-commerce outlets. Online sellers, since this study provided information about the most effective e-commerce platform when selling products, and lastly, for future researchers, since this might help produce new research that is connected to the original study.
Chapter 3, Methodology, consists of research design, sources of data, population of the study, instrumentation, evaluation and scoring, data gathering procedure, and statistical treatment.
The study utilized descriptive research designed to investigate the impact of social influence on students' preferred e-commerce platforms.
The results of the survey serve as the primary source of data. On the other hand, secondary sources of data included journals, theses, articles, news, reports, and other reliable sources on the internet, all of which were reviewed in accordance with the requirements for gathering the data for the study. To provide a credible result, a total of 112 respondents were required. Stratified random sampling was considered in the study.
The researcher used questionnaires as the primary tool for gathering information from the target respondents. The study employed a modified questionnaire from a research study entitled Attitude, Social Influence, Shopping Motivation, and Perceived Usefulness Affecting Online Shopping Satisfaction on Chinese Consumer in Kunming City, China, Taotao 2018, and the impact of social influence and third-party endorsement on online shopping in Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and Mizian 2015. To determine how the social influence affects the student decision on what e-commerce outlet they will use, The following measure will be used. The verbal interpretation of 1.00 to 1.74 is very uninfluential. 1.75 to 2.49 is uninfluential. 2.50 to 3.24 is influential. 3.25 to 4.00 is very influential.
Researchers conducted a survey via Google Form for faster data gathering after each of 112 students has responded. The data was collected, tallied, analyzed, and interpreted.
Likert scale and weighted mean were used as the statistical tools for the study.
The following are the results and discussion of the study.
The results showed most of the respondents were 18 years old. These results showed that all of the respondents are online shoppers. These results showed that most of the respondents are from the ABM strand. The results showed that most of the respondents visit Lazada once a week. The results showed that most of the respondents visit Shopee once a week. The research showed that most of the respondents visit Zalora once a week. The results showed that students mostly use Shopee as their e-commerce platform. The results showed that social influence is very influential on the decisions of grade 12 students at Angelo Levardo Loyola Senior High School. The findings of the study support the study of Tao 2018, which stated that social influence affected online shopping satisfaction.
These are the summary of findings, conclusions, recommendations that made.
The findings revealed that Shopee was the most used e-commerce outlet by the grade 12 student in ALSH with a frequency of 91. The results showed that an average weighted mean of 3.27 revealed that social influences are very influential on the student's decision in choosing the e-commerce platform they will use. The findings with an average weighted mean of 2.96 revealed that the strong ties and weak ties are influential to the student's decision making.
In light of the above findings of the study, the following conclusions were derived. Social influence are very influential to the respondents' decision on choosing an e-commerce platform they will use. Strong ties and weak ties are influential to the respondents' decision on choosing an e-commerce platform they will use.
In the light of the findings and conclusions, these are offered as recommendations for possible actions. E-commerce outlets need to consider the impact that social influences have on consumers. Therefore, maintaining the quality performance of their platform should be monitored. Sellers using e-commerce platforms should choose wisely on which e-commerce outlet they will focus more since consumers have preferences when choosing an e-commerce outlet. The strategy to deal with consumers' feedback should be accomplished because those consumers are able to influence people around them such as close friends, acquaintances, and family members who could be the potential e-commerce users such as setting up a 24/7 hotline to solve the user's problem. Future researchers may replicate the present study considering other important variables not mentioned in the study.
The following are the references used by the research